Well, Anna Kanner is she's a cop, and she's deputy chief in the little town of Orfea in the state of New York, and she's living a difficult time over there because she's in a world surrounded by men, and she's not super well, well, well. I don't say she's not very welcome in the city, and she's not very welcome to the police station, and she's struggling a lot. And I think it's one of the concerns that we still have in 2018 is that women are still struggling for their work or in this world of where the dominance is from the men, and that's something very concerning.
Even just something as simple as a paycheck to
Yeah.
being balanced.
I agree, and that's something that is worldwide absolutely crazy. As for a same job, men and women will not be paid the same. That's absolutely crazy. Yeah, it's about how today media are struggling because there are less people reading them, and because people don't want to pay online they don't want to pay online, and so media needs to find a way to get money, and that's a very big problem because we feel today like the fact that what we used to call the press, like printed like newspaper, for instance, as something that is going to not exist anymore. But if it's true that we have today the tablet and the phone and we can read on other thing than just the paper, it should make the newspaper, it should make the media something stronger, something that we can access more. And today we can access directly through all the most important newspaper and most serious newspaper in the world in a split of a second, through internet, through the tablets, and that's amazing. We don't need someone to buy it somewhere and to post it and then we'll arrive to our place 3 days after. So that's something very powerful, and we're not taking advantage of it. We're just like taking our information on Facebook, like really, and we're not consulting anymore very serious medias. And I have to say, a lot of people, when they see an article and they will click on it on the internet, they're expected to be free. Like someone worked for that, someone investigated for that, someone spent hours writing this article. Why should it be free? And we all work, we all expect to get a paycheck at the end of the month, and whatever we do, like we will not accept that people say, well, today you will work for free. So why would we do that to the journalists that work, and why would we expect that an article should be free? And why would we, when we are asked to pay for this, to read this, why would not say yes, of course I will do that, because it's what we do when we go to buy a coffee or when we go to have to the supermarket or whatever, we pay for it. So we should do that for newspaper, for news as well.
Yes, and that's what's happening even for us. It's like everybody is with fear. That probably printed books are going to disappear. The print media, we're struggling to get the advertising.
Yeah.
But still people want the physical magazine in a way. There's the people who still buy the books and love
Absolutely.
and cherish that
Absolutely.
part.
And you know, for me the concern is not about the printed books, because for instance, if we mention the tablets and the Kindle or the Kobo or whatever, the device, it's a lot of people. Yes, there is a part of the people that are not buying books anymore and that only use this device, but that's the way it is, and it means that those people reads on the plane and reads wherever they can, and they have always this device with them, so they're readers, and the good readers, they have an interest in literature in general, so they're part of this thing. And you know, a lot of those people that read on the tablets, also they buy books, also they go to bookstores, also when they really love a book, they go and buy it, and because they want to have it. So I think that there's a systemic, like there's something that is going on with books, and I'm not worried about books not being bought anymore. I'm more concerned about people don't reading anymore. That's my concern, because we are surrounded by TV, phones, Netflix, internet, Wi-Fi, whatever, and we don't have this reflex anymore to carry a book, to read a book. And that's something very important to remember, and to remember especially people that don't read, how reading is fun, and it's getting into another world. It's escaping your own life. You're not on the bus anymore, you're not on the train anymore, you're reading a book, you're in your own world. And you know, I will tell you that the experience when you're on a plane or on a train, when you're watching a movie on your little phone like this, you're not really watching the movie. As opposed to when you're on the train or on the bus, when you read a book, you're in the book. You're living it. It's a true experience.
And we need people also to read so our society can change and can stop probably xenophobia or
Absolutely.
racism. Or,
Reading is something that will give you so much richness about the world. It will be you will be able to know more about the society, more about the world, because then you can read novels, you can read essay, you can read biography, you can be really like someone else through reading books, and then you'll see it will work when you want to meet like a boy or a girl. If you read a lot, you'll be very smart, and people will, wow, this guy or this girl is very smart. And maybe also by just carrying a book on the bus, on the train that you read, and you will see it will happen to you. I promise, people will come to you.
exactly.
You maybe have spent like years on the bus, on the train with no one speaking to you. The day you show up with a book, someone will say, "Oh my God, I love this book," and you will start a conversation. Or maybe someone will say, "Oh no, don't read it. I didn't like this book." You say, "How come you didn't like it? It wasn't. I love this book." So, and we do that with
Yeah.
TV shows today. We do that with TV show, for instance. So why not with books? Books will put the people together.
And that's many of your novels, your narrative gives us that about how people connect, are we connected, and I'm also fascinated on how can you develop more than 30 characters? How do you understand the psyche, the human psyche, and how do we connect?
Well, I'm just trying to do my best to try to give a fair and a truthful picture of the people. And I think that if we don't judge the people, that we really just go and try to understand them, it's a very different process. And like people are the way they are. People do whatever they do. This is who they are, and we all have our own demons, our own strength, and our own weakness as well. And what I mean is, the question is not let's judge the people for what they do or what they did. Let's sit with them and let's try to understand why they do what they do. Sometimes people say, "Oh, but you're very young." I'm not that young anymore. I mean, I'm 33, but I mean, there's like author now they're like 20, so I'm older compared to them. But what I mean is not about my age or my face, even though I have some beard now, so I look older. It's not about that. I guess it's about my excitement, my passion, which is really juvenile. I'd say it's something that I kept from when I was a kid, being excited, just
Don't
being.
lose it when you grow
Yeah,
up.
and we are less and less excited. There's always like something like, oh no, this or that. We're not genuinely excited for things, and that's too bad. We're missing out. We're missing out, and I think that I'm so excited when I write. It's such a juvenile pleasure for me. I just love it with no more question, no more questioning. It's not that if I don't wonder about the success or if someone will like it or whatever. I just have so much pleasure, like a kid in the kids play. He's just enjoying his day with no more question about that, and I think that's something very important.
It's a part of your success. And I just want to talk about your editor who you lost.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Can
thank
tell
you.
us about
Yeah,
her?
Bernard de Fallois was my publisher since 2012, and he was a very, very important person for me. He's the one that, I would say he's the one that taught me how to dream and how to be so juvenile in my passion as well, and to be able to reach back to this part of me and to be just excited, genuinely excited for something that gives me pleasure.